This is an explicit podcast where we try to keep the conversations as raw and authentic as possible with no intentions of hurting anyone. So if you're very woke, religious, or sensitive, we highly recommend you do not tune in. What's up, guys? Let's Get It Podcast, episode 28, I think. Today we have two guests on our show, Colleen Augustin and Kasun, her partner. It was quite a long drive, right?
Not too bad. About an hour.
Just to come and do my podcast, and I appreciate that.
Something we're used to.
Where is your training located?
Currently, my general training is located in Desa Park City. For me,
That
an hour
is-
and hour and a half every day.
Holy shit,
Nearly 3 times a week is quite normal.
Even further than
Yes,
Tamatun, right?
yeah.
PTDI?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is in between. So you've got to pass by here.
Exactly.
So Colleen is a MMA fighter.
Yes.
How did you actually get into MMA? And how long have you been doing it?
Actually, not very long. I would say I started training since I was about 18, 19 for MMA. But I only had my first fight in 2018. So 2018, I was 20. So my first fight was
Sure.
actually only in 20.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, I only fought 2018, 2019, and then COVID. So I've only been doing about 3 years,
What
4 years.
about yourself, Kasun? You said you were a fight fan.
Yes.
So you what, UFC?
Yeah, I follow UFC, and then recently after I started dating her, then I...
ONE FC.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because I remember speaking to her a bit about this, and she said that
I mean, considerably where I'm based right now, yeah, of course I will follow One Championship since my
Yeah.
coach is in One Championship.
Yeah.
So definitely
And,
I heavily follow it.
to be honest, right, like if you're a local Malaysian and you watch combat sports, chances are you're gonna watch UFC unless you're training like mixed martial arts gym. What sort of martial arts did you used to do?
I did Kyokushin Karate. I don't know if you heard of it.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I think George St. Pierre used to do it.
Stephen Thompson.
Hawking.
Stephen Thompson?
The Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
Kyokushin.
Is that Kyokushin?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the... Is there a... Like, so I know that he does point karate.
So the difference between Kyokushin Karate and point karate is just full-on contact. So the point karate is like where you point, where it's like you just... There's two different varieties. One is where you do non-contact. And the second one is you actually do contact, but it's about 50%. So the fighting style that I used to do, so when it comes to tournaments, we fight till the opponent is knocked out.
Okay.
So we get points, like as in like the referees give, like if it's a significant strike, they lift the flag and you get a point. But most of the time it's a knockout.
But, okay, so you say they lift a flag and...
Yeah.
But wouldn't you guys be taking a lot of shots off
Yeah,
them?
so
you
those,
just keep
yeah,
doing
so it's
this?
no, actually, so for example, say like you exchange about 10-20 strikes,
Yeah.
and then you land a good kick. Okay. Then-
Oh, okay. So, like, let's say if it's not significant, as in, like, you do a jab,
yeah.
you guys throw
Yeah.
hands, right?
Yeah,
in,
because
karate? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, for us,
Yeah.
anything above the head is, as in if you're using your hands, we cannot strike the head. You can only use the leg to
So
strike
you
the
hit your
head. Yeah.
So if you're using the head, you're gonna hit the body.
Yes, you just do body strikes. That's why they don't lift the flag unless it's a very significant
What
strike.
do you think is the rationale for that?
I think that's mainly because of the safety, but honestly, I don't see the logic about it because
Dude, there's no fucking logic, man.
the leg strikes are much more much more dangerous. Yeah.
Hey man, it's not too surprising. Let's say, for example, UFC, common example, right? That sport's been about 25 years already, right? 25 years. They still have like errors in their rule system. Like for example, they used to have the 12 to 6 elbow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what a 12 to 6 elbow is, you basically throw an elbow from up here at the 12 o'clock and you go all the way down. But what type, like it kind of doesn't make any sense when you can, do a flying knee on someone, or you can't do soccer kicks. You can do that in ONE FC, not the UFC, but like one of those rules that doesn't really make sense. And after all, it is quite a young sport. Yeah. Speaking of like UFC, right, guys? What about the fight on Sunday?
It's a good one.
You
It's a
hyped?
good topic. Yeah.
Dude, I swear, I'm such a fucking degenerate when it comes to UFC, right? The whole week, every time I see Nate Diaz, I'm just eating up that content. Real quick, man. Real fucking quick, dude.
Yeah.
You guys a fan of Nate Diaz?
I like the hype he does, the way he trash talks and the whole vibe that
I
he
love
gives.
that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Hey.
it's very...
How I got into UFC, right, was Conor McGregor, 2015, right? I'm not afraid to say it,
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, it's just a lot of people that train martial arts, right? They actually don't like the trash talk, the entertainment value. I love that shit, man. I appreciate the sport, the fight itself, but I also love the entertainment value. Whereas some people, they're just engrossed in the sport. You see it with fighters as well. Commonly, you know, they can be having a fight, like a main event fight in a couple of months' time in the UFC, and they actually don't watch any fights, you know?
It guys is because if you're a practicing martial artist, you've kind of been taught discipline and respect.
Yes.
So the trash talking doesn't exactly appeal to those that actually practice the art, be it jiu-jitsu, karate, muay thai, whatever it is, because that's what you've kind of been trained to do. So we watch the sport, or we watch the events for the sake of the sport because we love the sport. Whereas I would say people who generally don't really train in that martial arts, that's where the entertainment value comes from, the trash talking and stuff. Like it's such a hype because honestly, mixed martial arts is an entertainment sport.
It is.
It's a sport, but it's entertainment in itself. It's blood fighting. Since gladiator times, it's just all entertainment for people.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Exactly.
So I like to put it this way, you know. The UFC president Dana White has been saying this for a decade now, that mixed martial arts is going to be the number one sport within years to come, right? We're not there yet, right? You've got football, which is 100 years, 120 years of like professional football with organizations. It's going to take some time, but at the rate that UFC is growing, there was a crazy stat, something like just during the COVID period, the viewership for UFC grew by 300-400%. Yeah, and a simple way I like to put it, right? Okay, let's say neither of you guys are training martial arts, or you guys don't even watch any type of fights or whatever, and you know a friend, okay, he's not even a close friend, a friend's friend, and he's fighting a random stranger, right? The fight is gonna go live now on YouTube. $10. Are you paying?
Oh,
Yeah, 10 bucks.
Yeah.
10 ringgit, 10 ringgit.
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, fine, 50 ringgit. 50 ringgit is a bit like,
It's a bit too much.
it's gonna be a shit show. Yeah. Other than Kyokushin karate, did you do any other martial arts?
Sri Lankan traditional wrestling for a
Sri
bit.
Lankan.
Yeah. I'm Sri Lankan.
Oh, you're Sri Lankan. So how long have you been in Malaysia?
3 years this year. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's very. That's not even long.
Yeah, it's not that long. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, Colleen, I want to ask, what is your ethnicity? You're not full Chinese, are you?
No.
Yeah.
I guess on like the paper, it'll basically be like Eurasian. But I'm a mix.
Eurasian. For sure, Eurasian.
I'm a mix of Chinese, Indian, and Spanish.
Chinese. Okay, but to be honest, you do pass off as Chinese, like
Yes.
just your looks,
Yeah.
right? The
That's
reason
a common one.
reason I ask is because of your name.
Yes. Family name is Augustin, hence the Spanish
Spanish.
descent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been in here for 3 years, Kasun, and it's for studies.
Studies, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, right? I feel like I'm interviewing two people. You know,
It's okay.
dude, honestly, it's fine. It's fine to just cut me off or whatever and talk. Yeah, it's all good. No, I'm saying I don't want it to be so like professional.
No,
or something like
it's
that. Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts on the fight on Sunday, man? Diaz and Kamzat.
I have feeling that Kamzat will actually be more dominant because the age difference is there as well. But I don't know. Nadias is very unexpected. Yeah. So he might land a knockout, but I don't know if you saw today's news. Like for the first time in UFC history, they actually postponed the press conference.
Oh, dude, that was
Yes,
sick.
yes.
I woke up, I saw that shit. Consume all of it, man. Just trying to find okay, so just a little insight or what happened. So Nate Diaz is supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev in the main event, which is happening on Sunday. By the time this podcast comes out, the fight's already taken place, right? I'm gonna take a wild guess. I think that Khamzat's gonna win, but big favorite is Nate Diaz. Okay, reason why not big favorite in terms of the fight, but big favorite to the fans. Okay, reason why people love Nate Diaz is because of his street mentality, die-hard attitude of he walks forward, he keeps fighting, he takes a lot of punches, and also he's kind of like as real as it gets. If you have a problem with him,
Yeah.
and you see him face to face, he's gonna slap you in the face. You know? A lot of fighters, you know, even though they're professional fighters, doesn't necessarily mean that you've been in street fights.
True.
You know, we see the rise of jiu-jitsu fighters.
Yes.
Right. We like to refer to them as nerd assassins, right?
I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on Twitter quite a lot in the MMA community. Yeah, nerd assassins.
This is true. If you okay, like for example, if you see this dude and he's scrawny, okay, maybe he's a bit lanky, and he's scrawny and wears glasses, looks like a nerd. But if he knows a little bit of jiu-jitsu, you could be 20 pounds heavier than him and he would have no problem.
That is literally like my jiu-jitsu professor. So my professor is Professor Bruninho Barbosa.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's right now back in Brazil.
Uh-huh.
But in the gym, of
Yeah.
course, because of his presence, you kind of just know. But otherwise, if someone who doesn't know him, he's like 75 centimeters, 170 plus. He was about 65 kilos. Now because he's lifting a lot of weights,
Yeah.
he's about 70, maximum maybe 72 right now kilos.
Yeah,
So
that's not
honestly, he doesn't look that, especially in a gi,
Yeah.
he doesn't look that big. But man, and on the streets, he wears glasses, he wears a tank top, you know, the Brazilian way of
He's a
dress.
black belt though.
He's a fourth degree black belt now, and he's so chill. But I've seen him like completely trash people who are like, I think 100 over kilos, and I saw him roll with them. He
100
was
kilos.
just
It's about 50, 60 pounds over him. Yeah.
playing with them. He was
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
his time. I was like, this man is crazy.
Did you ever delve into
Wrestling is
wrestling?
the closest I've-
Dude, you look like a wrestler, man. Yeah, dude.
Right?
Yeah, you look like a wrestler just because of your build. And I assume like you've been doing sports since you were young, growing up.
Yeah, since I was 4 years.
But apart from karate, when you were young,
I did a lot of sports, but karate is the very first sport I started. I did cricket, basketball, swimming.
dude, you guys are
And
both
rugby,
very
yeah.
similar.
Yeah, oddly enough, that's kind of how we bonded, because we realized that
So you have so much in common.
Sports.
both of us started sports since we were kids, like
Yeah.
just changing.
It's a great chemistry to have, you know, with your partner. Like, looks is one thing, but after what happens after 5-6 months, 1 year, you know, you gotta find more things, right?
Of
Common
course.
interests.
Yeah.
I've never tried out grappling. Only done striking.
Okay.
Why?
Come.
To do grappling?
Yes.
I did do a wrestling class.
Oh, nice.
I was in Melbourne for quite a long time, right? 8 years. So there was this gym called Absolute MMA.
That's a good gym.
It is a good gym. I would go for striking classes over there. But there was once they had this wrestling class, and at that time I was running like 3 to 5 km every day at a 4-minute pace per km.
Yeah.
So I felt like, oh, I'm super fit, you know.
Yeah.
I'm really light on my feet. I can run for days. You know, if I go for a wrestling class, which says there in the description, all levels, I'll be completely fine. Got my fucking ass kicked within the first 30 seconds. Okay, so the warm up, literally, okay, fine, first minute, just doing the warm up, and I was dying. You know, you won't understand until you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's vice versa in a sense where when grapplers go into striking, because I've seen a lot of my teammates, they would delve in one or the other, striking and grappling,
Yeah.
and eventually they will just stick to one. They'll either do Muay Thai and boxing, or
Yeah.
they will just do wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because the stamina requirement is completely different.
Completely
And I've
different.
seen jiu-jitsu guys who like, okay, I'm so fit, I can go 5-6 rounds. Each round's like 5 minutes long, 1 minute break in between, they're fine. But they go for Muay Thai or boxing class, it kills them because the stamina is completely
It works the exact same for grapplers transitioning to strikers. It's the same. The exact same shit.
exactly the same. That's why MMA is such a beautiful sport, because you need the stamina of a striker, but you also need the stamina to be able to grapple the person at the same time.
Also, the reason why you see in the earlier days of the UFC, right? You have people that primarily they come out of one martial arts. That's their background. Let's say a boxer probably knows a little bit of wrestling, defense, but not much, you know. So it's pretty much one martial arts against another martial arts.
Yes.
But over time, like right now, most of the UFC fighters, like even the ones that have just gotten into the UFC, they're pretty much very well-rounded, like everywhere. They're good at everything.
Yep. Especially even if you see it at the IMAF level. You've seen a few fights in IMAF, right? It's the International Amateur MMA
Yeah, I was just
Amateur
gonna ask.
Tournament.
Uh-huh.
So even at that level, we have kids who start fighting about 10 years old.
10 years old?
Yeah, we
Is that
have
allowed?
youth division. We have youth
Wait,
divisions.
it's Malaysian, right?
International.
But is it held here?
We don't have it here.
Yeah.
But we have Asian Open, so Malaysians would go into the Asian Opens. Currently, we don't have enough to send, and
Do they
funding.
host it over here?
No, we don't. Our country is too small to host it.
Okay.
So it usually holds it in countries like in the Middle East.
Okay.
You have Pan Americans. So in America, African Open, the last time was in St. Johannesburg
Yep.
in South Africa. And then you have the European Open, which sometimes is in Italy, sometimes in France, so on and so forth. So we even have these kids coming up. They start, because especially in the US and in Europe, they actually, pancration is a martial art. So pancration, I would say, is similar-ish to
Gladiators.
MMA.
Right?
It started from those times. So
I'm not too
the
sure
kids
though.
who started from there, the transition to MMA is very simple. That's why a lot of the Kazakhstan kids and all that, the transition is very easy.
Sorry, could you explain like how just like briefly how pancration works? I have
Pancration,
no idea.
I'm not super sure, but I know it's very similar to MMA in a sense where there is grappling and striking involved
Okay.
at the same time.
Okay.
It's just that I think there's no ground and pound and stuff like that.
Something like sambo.
Something like that, if I'm not mistaken. That was my understanding, though I'm not fully well versed in it, because I know it's big
There's too many
in
martial
certain
arts.
parts. It's a very old martial art, and these kids, I watch them at 10 to about even 16-year-olds, all of them. MMA has become a style of its own. You need the base of many different striking martial art and grappling martial art, but in a sense, MMA is a style on its own. In order to be a good MMA fighter, you have to be well-rounded. These kids at 16 are already well-rounded. So by the time they reach 24 in the adult category, 21 and above, they are one of the most amazing fighters that I've seen. And this is amateur level.
So I feel like a common misconception, right, about Khabib. So everyone knows Khabib. He blew up, especially after he beat McGregor, right? I think the common misconception is people assume that sambo is strictly grappling, but there's actually striking in sambo. And these people, the reason why these like Dagestani fighters right now, they are kind of like dominating the scene in UFC and MMA, is because they've been doing this since they were young. Similar to what you were just saying,
yeah.
like pancration, right? You got striking and grappling, and if you're doing this since young, right, as compared to people who are in people who are let's say people in America, they come from a wrestling background or they come from taekwondo, boxing, just one martial arts, not the whole thing. I swear, like most guests, right, I fucking love UFC. I love MMA, but I don't get to talk about this. I really don't, only Lance. That was the only one.
Right.
Yeah, of
but
course.
I fucking love this shit. Like, who's your favorite fighter that inspired you? Did you have one? You yourself?
Me, I actually have two. I like
Yeah, say it,
I
man.
like Adesanya and Khabib.
Just go crazy, dude.
Yeah, I just
One
like,
striker, one
I just like
grappler.
Adesanya and Khabib.
I love
Yeah.
Adesanya, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both very opposite.
Yes,
Opposite
that-
styles.
yeah. I love Adesanya because he's a pure striker. So, I mean, Kyokushin karate is just pure striking. So I love the way he utilizes the opponent and everything. But Khabib, I like for his mentality. Like for him, tapping is not an option. For him, it's like I'd rather go to sleep.
There's quite a few fighters with that mentality, man. Like they're willing to die in the cage, and sometimes you see that the fact that they are willing to die in the cage, that actually gives them the advantage. Like, I mean, you would think that at that level everyone is so highly skilled, and we know that MMA is just you zig when you zag and you're gonna get knocked out, right? But sometimes just having that mentality, because especially when it comes to striking, right, confidence is a huge part of it. You'll see fighters that are unbeaten until they get to the UFC, and they're dominating, and then you find out about their heart, right? How much fight they've got in them. When people talk about fighters, right? Well, so what actually makes a good fighter? Because you can beat someone up, but the other side of it is like you can be the hammer and you can be the nail as well. When you get beaten up, are you gonna fight back? Are you gonna give up? Tell me about your first time sparring. That's what I want to know.
Honestly, I can't remember because my first time sparring, I was like, proper sparring,
Yeah.
Muay Thai. So
Wait,
I was
what-
about 17. I did many martial arts growing up. Again, kind of kept switching around. I did a bit of karate. Not that one. The point karate.
Oh, hey, what's wrong with Kyokushin karate?
No, his one is hardcore.
Oh, okay. I thought you tried to.
No, his one is hardcore. It's like not his one. His one's
Yeah.
like hardcore. Like the really like they know how to fight. I did like kind of like the point style karate. I did taekwondo for 1 year I was Chinese ed in primary school. So taekwondo was one of the extracurricular activities. So I did that for a year. And then I did aikido from when I was about 10 to I was 16. Then so my first sparring was officially when I started Muay Thai at about 17 years old. I honestly cannot.
But you could say that taekwondo, they're sparring as well, and you do take damage.
But we were like 9.
This dude's a black belt in taekwondo. Yeah, but that's back in high school.
Yeah, we didn't get to spar much because we were like 9 years old, so they didn't really let us spar.
That's smart. That's smart though. You know right
Yeah.
now, right? You'll see on Instagram videos of kids just going at
Oh
it.
yeah.
girl, like let's say 7-year-old girl just beating up 8-year-old boy, you know, and
Ah,
beating each other
yes.
up. You seen that
Yes.
shit, right?
Yes.
That's not good, man.
Muay Thai they do that as well for kids.
They do that.
Think until 7 or 8 there is no gender category for kids because they're about the same development process. Think after 8 then it's boys and girls.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Like you're talking about just
Development.
physically.
Because they're about the same. The strength is about the same. Nothing really hits until about 8 or 9. So after 8 or 9, usually Muay Thai, if I'm not mistaken, they split. So it's girls against girls, boys against boys. Yeah, after a certain age because of the physical development. Before that, 4 and 5 is like, you guys are the same.
Do you guys know about so one of the bigger topics, right, that people would always bring up, the transgender fighter.
Oh,
Yeah.
This dude, a male, who started taking female hormones, right? And then he's officially having a public sex change,
yes,
right?
yes.
What happens is he is now competing in the
Women's
category.
Yes,
That shit's gonna piss off a lot of people who are trans.
yes.
But then you start to think about the side of that person, the trans male. Is it trans male? Or?
I have no idea the correct term. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know, so I tend to avoid the word in general.
So basically, when he is competing with the females,
Yes.
right? He who is a male who is a sex change, right? So he's a trans woman. It's just not fair. It's very obvious. You know, you take certain hormones or
Estrogen.
estrogen. And the body structure is very different. Doesn't matter how many female hormones. you take.
Especially after you already hit puberty, all your testosterone has already been released. So your body structure is
very different.
completely man after puberty, especially.
people, especially in the MMA community, right? I doubt there's anyone in the MMA community that is for it.
It's a very hot topic, even in IMAF.
Oh, don't tell
When-
me there was one.
No, I'm not sure actually because I only fought in IMAF only in 2019, like twice, in Asians and in Worlds.
I just saw the fight just now. Yeah.
Such an old fight. And after that they nominated me to be part of the athletic community, athletic commission. Sorry. So we started talking about topics like these, which and of course they wanted the athlete's point of view as well, and it was a very hard topic to come about. And actually, I think we're gonna have another discussion as well
Did that
because
surprise you that you, because like especially what I mentioned just now, right? I would assume that the MMA community is against it, but the people that are being loud about it are actually not in the MMA.
yeah, that's the hard part because one, MMA is an entertainment. The thing is it's very hard because we want to kind of please both sides, but we also understand athlete safety. So I have no idea what they have decided, but I know IMAF has always put athlete safety first. But I don't know what's their final decision yet because they are still in discussion. But for me, I can say from my point of view, I understand that a lot of MMA promotions and community want to be inclusive because they should be given a chance to fight as well, which I completely understand. And this is where I go athlete safety first. If we can respect that you have changed and whatnot, but you have to understand that your transition internally, it is still what you were before. Because physically you are just as strong. Because evidence of one of the first transgender fighters that went into women's thing, I guess considered she, has fought about 5 or 6 times, all by knockout, and she's broke 3 of a woman's faces. Just with her hands. She broke their face with her hands. And yes, you make the weight and all that, but you have to think about it. You went through puberty. You basically transitioned when you're about late 20s, 30s. So your body is fully developed. So that is where we need to take into account. But I'm coming from this kind of point of view. But again, like you said, the ones that are making noise is not the ones that are actually fighting. Where they want to be for it. And they don't understand that. So that is where a lot of promotions have to balance out, where we don't want these people to be causing trouble there, but we also have to think about our athletes. And I think what we should do is kind of like what Thailand did.
What's happening in Thailand?
Because Thailand, this is normal.
For Muay
Thai? A lot of like people transition. It's normal in Thailand. No one discriminates. So what they do is, if you are a man who really like change everything into a woman past a certain age, you are a woman, but you fight men. You still fight in the male category.
Okay.
Because it's only fair. You can dress how you dress, but because of whatever it is, you're still fighting the men's category. And the thing is, it's not like they lose strength much or anything like that. It's just that the gender has changed, and I think it's more fair. Either that, or they just create a category on its own. Because you're putting other athletes
creating a category on its own is a brilliant solution, but
again, there's a lot of, and it's the same thing if, let's say, a female were to take testosterone to become a trans man. Is that what it's called? Okay, never mind. Never mind. Trans. Let's say a woman decide to sex change all the way to a guy. You hit puberty, whatever it is. Usually at 20 plus, you're a lot of estrogen. You're taking testosterone to overcome it. If you fight in the male category, can you imagine how badly your body is gonna get damaged? A 50 kilo or 60 kilo man and 60 kilo woman. The strength is different. Like Lance. Lance is 50 kilos.
Are you guys the same?
No, he's smaller.
You weigh more than him?
Yeah, I weigh more than him now. And we fight in similar weight classes.
But you can feel the strength difference.
Exactly. Like, I fought a girl at 52 and I spar with him all the time. He's stronger than her and he's smaller.
Okay, wait, let me get this straight. So, when you were sparring with Lance, right, let's say y'all do a lot of grappling.
Yeah, exactly.
How many kgs would you say you had over him?
2, 3. At the time, 2 kilos, 3 kilos maybe. Our weight was much closer back then.
Okay, and you can feel like it's very significant.
It's significant. I fought because of training with him and training with men. I got used to the strength. So when I was competing against 52 kilo girls, they were strong, but for me it's like I felt stronger. And that's the difference, where this small guy, even though he's like 2 kilos lighter than me, is much stronger than a girl. And these girls are like, when I met them international level, they are strong, but they weren't as strong as him. And just because he's a male, that's just how they function. Testosterone.
But then it's like if you were to give this argument, right, similar to what you said just now, where the dude not dude. No, okay, fine. He's a trans woman competing, and he's had 5 knockouts. You know, he's broken 3 of his opponent's faces, right? But if you give this argument, right, then people would say like, yeah, but maybe he's just a better fighter. You know, he's more skilled.
Which is possible. Which is yes, but have you heard a history of where girls have broken other woman's face with their fists? Even Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes, right now, they are honestly one of the strongest females, especially Punching wise, they've knocked people out with their hands, yes, but I've never seen them break another woman's face.
Yeah.
Unless it's a
That's
kick.
true
Then
though.
it's
That's
different.
true.
Unless it's a kick.
I've actually never heard about that. Like when it comes to girls fighting.
Yeah. Unless it's bare knuckle.
But striking is, there are some fighters, right? Jermaine de Randami, right? One of the really, she's a veteran in, I think kickboxing, is it? Or Muay Thai, yeah. So she's had an extensive background. And she knocks out dudes, you know?
Yes.
But it's very different when it comes to grappling. Because grappling, you're literally going like physical strength to physical strength. You know, it's not like you caught that person with a nice punch, you know, and you knock the person out. When it comes to grappling, you can actually feel it.
At least grappling is a bit more safer. Like, if, like for me, I grapple with him, let's say I wrestle with him. Yes, he's way stronger, he's heavier. But the likelihood of me getting injured isn't as high as if I were to spar with someone who's 90 kilos. Which is much worse, honestly.
It's fucked up, dude. So I sparred with this dude. He was about 92 kilos. I'm 70, 77, right? And he used to be a bodybuilder, so he's really, really jacked. Like he was those is it IFBB?
Yeah,
I-
FBB.
Yeah. Those IFBB pro, and then he started. He also did kickboxing all his life. I had one sparring session with him where the second round I was almost completely gassed, and he started just beating me up and I stayed till the end. And then after that, right, I just didn't want to spar him anymore because I know that, I don't know, man, it kind of, once you get beaten up so badly, right, it really dents your confidence, especially when it comes to just even sparring.
That's why you need good training partners. That's why what makes a good MMA fighter is in the gym, you are the nail. If you are the hammer in the gym, you're not going anywhere because you're the best. So who are you going to learn from? When you're the nail every day, one, it kills the heck out of your confidence. Like for me, since I started MMA until now, in the gym, there's never really been a day where because 90% of my training partners are guys.
Yeah.
So majority of the time, I'm the nail.
But wouldn't you say, like, because when you're talking about confidence, right?
It does
Especially-
dampen your confidence.
Of course, but let's say if you're preparing for a fight, right? They can't exactly keep beating you up because that's also going to affect your, like, it might make you gun shy or...
Not really, actually.
No?
Because I feel like this is where you find out, are you going to be a fighter? Are you going to give up? Are you going to stop? I get, like, some people say, I get beat up in the gym every day. What's the point of training? But you say you want to fight. If you're a casual, it's fine. It's your hobby. It's fine. I understand. Yeah, that's okay. But I'm saying, like, if you want to fight in the cage, in the ring,
need
I
to get
believe
beat up.
you can probably agree with me on this. If you cannot accept being the nail,
Yeah.
then you're not going to get anywhere because there's going to be a point of time
Yeah.
in the cage, in the ring, on the mats where you are going to feel like crap, where the opponent's just on you. So are you going to give up or are you going to fight back? When you're used to being that, you're kind of used to being in a shitty position.
Yeah.
And what you can do from there. So in a sense, yes, it kills my confidence. I'm not going to lie. A lot of training sessions, I will go home and just cry. Like legit, I would, like in my training camp sometimes I would be so frustrated because I cannot take the guys down or whatnot.
What?
And I'll just go home and cry. But I show up and the next day I come back again.
So if you go home and you cry, I was just going to say, and you don't show up, compared to if you do show up. There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with you crying, but the fact that you
exactly.
still show up,
Yes, exactly. That's where I say, like, fighters, like, I always say, like, you want to cry, you can be frustrated all you want. But as long as you come back and you try again, that's all that matters. And imagine you do that through your training sessions, by the time you reach your fight, your confidence is gonna go crazy because you're like, I train with all these guys, now I'm gonna fight a girl who's 52 kilos.
and it's also something to do with the fact that you know that you gave everything in your training already.
Yeah.
How many fights have you had so far?
In total, jiu-jitsu, I cannot remember for the life of me.
No, I'm talking about MMA.
MMA, 9. Only 9.
So when was the last one?
November 2019 was my last
was a while
MMA fight.
ago.
Yes, the World Championships.
What happened? Like, did you run into injuries or?
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, COVID happened after that.
Yeah.
I had knee surgery in 2021. Had a small keyhole surgery, and then I started back training, but I rushed back too soon and tried to push for a boxing fight. So I had a boxing fight, my first boxing fight last November, last year.
Yep.
Because I tried to push myself too fast, too soon.
Yeah.
I injured my back after that. So I was out for
3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
I was out for 3 months, completely couldn't do anything. Because it's a lower back injury.
Yeah.
So then since then, I've just been... I got lucky. I was shooting a movie. So after the movie shooting was done...
What movie is it?
Fanna.
Is it out already?
Not yet. Next year.
Is that the first movie that you've done?
Yes. My first time acting as well.
Really? Your first time acting? Sick. Did you manage to get one of the lead roles?
I'm considered the supporting character. I am the main character's sister.
Okay. Any notable names from Malaysian?
Shafi Nasweet
Oh,
and
shit.
Fifi Azmi.
You know what, I shouldn't be asking because I'm kind of I lack in that department, knowing the local names.
Yeah.
I came back in 2020, so even just knowing the local influencers, so I barely know any. I know them through just right now I'm still learning, some of them. I don't know.
Even I wasn't. My parents actually know way more.
Have they always been in the art scene or what locally?
Quite big supporters in the sense of they watch local films and stuff as well as outside as well, so they kind of know a lot.
I feel especially if you are English speaking Chinese, right? Like for myself, let's call them bangsa bubble kids.
Banana.
Yes, but I'm a banana.
Oh.
But even if you're not a banana, right? You wouldn't be engrossed in local content unless you yourself is in the industry. That's why I asked in the arts industry or
I think they have friends that are in it. That's why.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So how was it the experience? Oh my god, tell me about that.
Tiring.
So okay, what people always assume, right? Especially when it comes to filming movies, they think that's super fun acting. It's not as not fun, but they don't take into account that the amount of waiting that you have to do, right?
True, and it's it's an amazing experience. And I
course.
had a wonderful team, and I was a first timer, and I was acting with 2 actors who've been doing this maybe 20 over years, and so they've been doing this since they were kids. So the 2 main characters, and
did you get much time to speak with them? Maybe they can give you a lot of tips and stuff.
The thing is, they are super sweet. They taught me on the spot because I had my manager to teach me, my director to guide me, but they were also there. I told them it's really nice to meet you guys, but I really don't know anything. I only know whatever I've been taught from my manager, and that's all. This is my first time, and they were super chill about it. They were like, it's okay, we'll help you. So my abang in the film, he actually ended up becoming on set. He really became kind of my older brother.
Your abang in the film. You're talking about the character you're playing.
The character, yeah. But even offset, he was kind of like an older brother. He would kind of guide me where I would be because I had to speak BM, which isn't exactly my first language as well.
Wait, did you go to government school?
Chinese school.
Chinese school.
There's BM, but
You went to Chinese school, primary level.
that's it.
But you would say that the level of BM is definitely not as high as the kebangsaan school,
No, definitely
right?
not. Very, very different. Very different.
Okay.
It's just enough to kind of survive, in a sense.
Yeah, tapao
So-
food.
Yeah.
I mean bungkus food.
Even
Not tapao.
he can ask for takeaway and all that in BM.
What's the national language at Sri Lanka? Sinhalese. Would you say it's similar to Tamil? Sorry, do I sound racist? Fucking racist.
Few words.
Yeah. Okay, maybe okay, it's not even Indo and Indonesian and Bahasa
They're
Malaysia.
so different.
What Indonesian?
Indonesian and Malay is so different.
I think it's
I
actually
can't
pretty
understand
similar.
Indon. I can't understand Indon.
Very similar.
It's very similar. It's just that they speak very fast. That's one thing. Of course, it's different here and there.
Yeah.
I think one thing is for sure. I think Malaysian, Bahasa Malaysia, we use a lot of words, right, where we just copy Malay. I mean, copy English. Like, let's say ice and ice. You know, there's the same word.
That is true.
Yeah, it's endless, you know. What are the examples? All sorts. Convention is convenci. Is it?
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
Convention, but is YEN at the back. Language. I mean, I think also if you talk about in Malay language here,
Yeah.
if you talk about KL,
Yeah.
Malay is different from Kelantan Malay,
Of course.
Penang Malay, Terengganu Malay is all like completely
course.
different as well.
So, are you still doing the filming process?
Oh no, I was already done. I think it took about a month and a half, was it?
That's fast.
Yeah, it was
That's very
quite
fast.
Like, was it a month and a half?
No.
2 months?
Close to 3 months.
Was it?
Yeah.
I cannot remember.
Yeah.
You probably remember.
Because I was just driving her.
Oh, very lucky you have a
and,
driver. Did you have to wait there?
No. I told him like,
training and
Yeah.
just come
That would be disrespectful.
because the film is kind of, well, we filmed here locally, of course.
Sure.
But it's kind of like since I'm a fighter, so it's a gangster film.
Yeah, of course. And you're
Yeah.
definitely going to be fighting as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of the film scenes were done kind of in the nighttime. So he kind of dropped me off at like 8 p.m. Picked me up at 6 a.m. the next day.
Holy, oh, dude, so you guys film all night?
Some like for me sometimes yes, but the main characters, yes, they were filming. Like I will probably reach there about 7, 8
Yeah.
and only start filming for my scene 11, 12 a.m. And they will probably be filming from like 6 p.m. and even maybe I'm done at 3 a.m. They still have scenes to do until 7 a.m. in the morning, and then they only go home. Like it's crazy to see like this is what these actors go
Yeah,
through
yeah.
for filming sessions, and that's what they did for like. And some days we filmed in the morning, and the next day is nighttime, so your sleep schedule goes crazy.
Your sleep schedule is
Goes absolute nuts.
upside down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like that.
So it's amazing. Like they were to watch them because they're professionals. This is
Yep.
what they do in their daily lives.
Yep.
Every day, all they do is act. They always have. After that project was done,
Yeah.
they immediately had some. They had like 2 days off,
Yeah.
and they had another project already. So that's all they did every day, and it's amazing to see how professional they are
Yeah.
on set, off the set, and how they treat everyone around them. Considering the fact, like Fifi Azmi, she's won awards in Malaysia, and but when you meet her, you
Yeah.
know you know people will assume like the diva attitude. She's not. She's like super
That's
nice.
because
She
you
just
hear-
talks to everybody and everything.
That's because you
like that.
hear a lot of stories about like Ellen DeGeneres. Have you heard that gossip? Like
Yes.
there's something they say that two things when you move to LA, right? This is one of the what someone I forgot who said it, someone on the Joe Rogan show, right? He said that when you go to LA, you're gonna these two things will happen. You'll get a parking ticket and you'll hear some bad shit about Ellen DeGeneres. Something about how she treats her staff, you know. So probably that's why you assume that, you know, she what was her name?
Fifi. I think because a lot of people always say like, you know, people always have a kind of like a bad image of actors and actresses, especially the ones that have a lot of experience.
The big ones.
The
Yeah.
big ones, they usually will say like, oh, you know, these people will be like this. Whereas I got lucky where I was working with people like, literally have been in the industry since my mom's time. Like when my mom was 20
Yeah.
years old. And when I met them, I'm a complete newbie. I know nothing.
Yep,
All I
yep.
know is to fight. That's all I know.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were all super chill and like super nice and like, hey, it's okay. We guide you. Like they were like, oh, it's okay. Why don't we tweak your script a bit like this so it sounds a bit better? And I could ask them questions like, I don't understand what this means.
Yeah, yeah.
And they explain it to me and I'm like, oh, like they actually took the time to teach me.
Hey, but you're very fortunate, man, that you managed to land so you obviously you had to go through the auditions. Like how many stage was there?
Actually, no.
No, super
I
fortunate.
was very lucky because my talent manager,
Yes.
he's also in the film.
Yes.
And the director was looking for, he wanted a specific kind of character person to play the character
Yeah,
that
someone
he wanted he didn't want a guy, he wanted a girl
Yes.
to be the sister, but he wanted a girl who could actually fight
Yep.
to play the role. So my talent manager kind of said like, I have this person.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any experience,
Yeah.
but she can fight. So if we talk about all the stunt scenes, she won't have an issue at least. So
But they were persistent on training you with all the others.
of course,
Yeah.
we of course did a lot of stunt choreography training, but otherwise he, according to my talent manager, he kind of took a look at me. He saw how I looked like and everything like that. We had we met up with him and the producer after that. And
You
they
got
were
their star
like,
qualities.
and they
basically.
were like, yeah, we actually like we
Yeah.
will want you because you would be the perfect person, like for like I guess in his mind to portray the character. And then the fact that I naturally had tattoos, he didn't need me to hide it. It's like, one, you're already not Malay. That's not what I need anyway. And you have tattoos which we don't need to cover up. They don't need to even add on. It's just there. So it's like, oh, that's it.
So this is
Just
something
need to teach you
that
how to act.
this is something that you definitely want to do more of,
I would say
or you want to focus on fighting.
fighting is definitely my main thing. That's really what I want to pursue. But I also understand that I've been quite fortunate in a sense where during COVID, a lot of opportunities opened up for me.
When were you filming this Fanna? Was it during? It's not during
No,
COVID,
this
right?
was this year, February?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
early
pretty
this
much
year.
after everything started to settle down past COVID.
Yeah, but even during COVID, I had opportunities for modeling, something I never really thought of doing as well. Opportunity opened up for that, and then of course eventually the
Yeah.
small acting.
A lot of value in the fact that you're a fighter, very sporty athlete. Yeah, a lot of value in that. You know, I actually did 2 extra scenes before. I think last year, right? So there's this place in Puchong. It's like, I would say it's kind of like the Hollywood area because I know Puchong is really big.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's this place in Puchong where there's like a lot of studios. There's some bars as well.
Satia Walk.
Is it Satya Walk? So it's just, it
There's
looks
like
very
a
nice.
fountain, and then
Yes.
there's water. Satia Walk. That's the most, I would say, photogenic area.
Yes, when everywhere else this probably doesn't look like that, right? Yeah, so they have studios as well, right? Over there. Yeah, it was somewhere there. So I went there and oh my god, it's kind of stupid, man. It's one of those online casino. They want to do an advertisement. So I was one of the dudes just dancing. It was just a good experience, and also I remember there was one of the extras also, right? It took about 4-5 hours. The actual shooting took an hour maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of waiting. There was this gal that was there, one of the other extras as well.
Yeah.
So we were there for about 4 to 5 hours, and the boyfriend was waiting in the car the whole time. So that's why to start, I said like, did he wait? Yeah.
No, I just had training, so I just used to pick her up after
Sure.
training. Yeah.
When do you think you're gonna be competing again?
Maybe next year. Yeah, it will be the best time for me.
Would you say the goal is to get into 1FC?
I would say, one, definitely I'm going to turn pro.
Yes.
Professionally, definitely it's 100%.
Is there a requirement to turn pro? No, right?
Just take a paid fight and you're a professional.
You don't even have to take any amateur fights, and you can just fight
Oh
professionally,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I have no fighters who don't even fight amateur. They just take a paid fight and they're professional.
You know what I was mentioning just now, like so I was doing a lot of sparring in the boxing gym, right? Remember the one that I met you at, Alex Gym?
Yes.
Have you ever trained there?
No. No.
The mentality is very, very old school.
Yes.
Have you heard about that gym?
It's a very old school boxing gym. Basically, honestly, all the top boxers
They're
in
really
Malaysia
fucking good, dude.
all came out from there.
They're fucking
Mirage,
good.
Kang Fai,
Mirage,
they're all from
I
there.
saw Mirage a couple of days
Yeah.
ago. It's different because when I was in Melbourne, right, I would always go for open sparring, striking. So I would spar with the local white dudes, you know, they're bigger and all. And open sparring, it's kind of like they'll give you 3 minutes, but of course you something like 3 minutes and then you rest. Not 1 minute, it's a bit longer, like 3 minutes, something like that. But and I had no problems, you know, everything was just it's all good. You know, no problems. But when I came here and I sparred in the ring there, I never felt that tired before, man. So the reason why the coach has sparring only once a week, I would assume you guys spar at least 2-3 times a week when you're training. Once a week?
We do hard sparring once a week only.
Once a week, right?
Hard sparring.
But do you guys do any flow sparring or what?
Yes,
in
of
between?
course. During the week, flow, technical sparring,
Yeah.
light sparring, yeah.
So they don't do any technical or, it's a very old school mentality. I've seen the coach, right, where there's this dude that's been training for a couple of, I don't know, maybe a year or two. And he goes in the ring and then he's sparring with this other dude. And the other dude is beating him. And then he looks at the coach. And the coach just says, like, if you don't want to fight, get out. He just got out of the ring. I can't criticize, because
Yeah.
that's the reason why they're definitely most notable for boxing when it comes to boxing.
Alex's gym.
Dude, they're real killers. You know King Fire?
Yeah, of course. He used to train with us.
Real fucking savage, man.
His hands.
Fucking good.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
at Fat Cat
yeah,
now. He's teaching
yeah.
at Fat Cat now.
He's one of the head coaches there, striking coach. He's real fucking good, man. He used to train a lot with Mirage.
Yes.
And, they're about 10-15 kgs, difference, and they'll just go at it. There's a lot of damage you're taking. I sparred with Mirage once, and he's like telling me, okay, we'll just go slow. First time ever I got dropped. Yeah. And that's him going slow.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's a big guy.
He's 10 kgs over me, 6'2". Yeah.
Isn't it how you used to train for karate as well?
What?
Like that old school style.
Yes.
Oh, you guys have that same mentality over there, like.
I mean, I first sparred when I was 11, and it was against a second dan black belt who was 30 years old.
Eh?
Yeah.
That's fucked up, dude.
That's when we started kind of conditioning for it. Yeah.
But of course he would have taken it light on you, right? You're 11.
Certain players,
Sure, man.
when you when I was 12.
Yeah, but they still know how to push you till the point where they know it's effective in Alex's gym. So another reason why it's so fucking intense is because there's a ring. You saw how the setting is
Yes.
like. There's a ring.
It's a very small
Everyone is watching when you spar. It's not most MMA gyms. They like to utilize the space, right? So everyone, they just spar at their own space. They don't take too much because they want to share. When you're sparring in the ring, right, it's more intense, man, because everyone is watching, and then you can't be a bitch.
That's what they do in Triple T as well.
Where is Triple T?
Triple T is in Sunway. You know Monash University?
Yeah,
Same
I
row.
know.
Same row.
Okay, is it
Yeah.
a new gym?
Under above the do you know a gym called Vladimir's?
No.
It's another old boxing gym.
Okay.
So now it's taken over by a new coach, a new person as well. So it's now called Triple T Boxing Academy. They have a full size ring right smack in the middle of the gym.
Yeah.
And sparring is Friday nights, and usually the coach, everybody watches, pair by pair, and everybody just watches and.
It's different, man. The coach, like at the gym I was as well, the coach will not tell you who you want to spar with. What he won't even say a thing. Whenever sparring session starts, whoever wants to spar, just go in the ring, and then you take turns off. Yeah, he's not gonna pair you with who or what, or just because of your level, just anything goes. But of course, if someone gets like let's say even if you get clipped really clean, he's gonna say stop.
There's still a rules or.
Nah, not rules. It's just that if you get rocked really badly and even if you didn't get dropped, the coach will say stop, and then maybe
That's
10 seconds later.
That's
very
generous?
generous.
What do you mean that's generous?
That's very generous though.
Yeah,
Why? Oh, your master never
No,
said
we have to
stop.
concede.
concede. Oh, you have to say that.
We have to say enough first.
But what if just boom and your head shakes and you're just
Because initially Kyokushin karate is not.
because you can see when you're really rocked, man.
Yeah, it's more of a self-defense style. Like every single punch, kick, block we do is just street fighting, just self-defense. So it's not an offensive style. So if you're not able to defend properly, that means you haven't learned the art properly. So there's never a time where you concede. We just go the full round. So if we fight for 5 minutes, we just go 5 minutes.
Okay,
Never
let me
concede.
ask you this straight up. How many have you gotten knocked out before?
No.
What?
He's knocked people out before though.
But I would assume you yourself have gotten knocked out.
I've never
Never?
knocked out before.
To the body or something?
Body, yes, but I've got like
Yeah.
strong body shots, but I never drop. I always keep going.
Then that is not considered you getting knocked out.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Because
Wait,
yeah.
were you were competing?
I was actually preparing for under 18 World Championships
Yeah, that's the reason why you never got knocked out. Because it's true. You know, if you never gotten knocked out and you train for so long, you're probably one of the elites, you know. Yeah.
I've gotten dropped before. I got dropped by Aguilan's kick.
Yeah, why would he kick you so hard?
No, it's not him.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Whenever I train with the big guys, they all go, of course they go lighter. They do technical with me.
But light to them has a
Light
different
today is still
meaning.
heavy to me. So which is perfect. Which is perfect for me.
Yes.
Because it's all technique. There's no force behind it. If it's force, I would have died.
But honestly, guys,
I
especially...
walked into his kick.
Okay. So, it's your fault, on you.
Yes, it's all my fault.
But honestly, from what I've noticed, right, like, when you're in the MMA gym, and especially when you're sparring with a guy and a girl, everyone is very respectable. Because the moment you...
No!
You don't think so?
No!
I wouldn't know.
It depends.
Yeah.
Like,
But they do it with love. Could you say that? You know?
wait. From yours, for your martial art, do they be nice or they just...
I mean,
To the girls, they just don't give a
if
fuck.
guys pass with girls, for us it's just always different. We are never allowed to attack the girls.
Oh, that's
We
cool.
take the big ones.
So for us, we have no limitations. Okay, this is from my point of view. My coach never gave guys limitations when they came towards me, but we never did. Our hard sparring is always technical because we don't want to knock people out. We want to work on technique. So you can be fast, but don't try to knock the person out, basically. But if you hit kick, it's clean, it lands, fine. But basically, you don't want to put force behind it to knock out.
Of course,
Even
of course.
if this is me sparring with guys, same rule. Everybody, the same rule applies. So basically, we have fighters, those who are experienced, when they spar with me, they will do the same. It's just that they spar with other guys. It's just that they just cut the force. So technique, everything is there. Just they won't put in like 70% strength or whatnot. They'll cut. But I have experienced and I have seen guys who walk into the gym.
They hit you full force?
Oh yeah.
But why though? Are they
Because
bigger
they
or
have
smaller?
something to prove.
Are they
bigger.
smaller? Oh, they're
All of them
bigger?
are bigger than me. They
But what is
just,
that exactly like?
because they get beat up by my teammates, so they're frustrated. So they come and pick on me.
Let's just say
and-
he's probably not too good at reading social cues, because you would kind of know that if you want to prove a point sparring with a girl, your teammates are going to think that you're an asshole.
Because
I mean, that's where you can tell if a fighter is experienced or not.
yeah, because a good
Oh, okay.
yeah, if
I get what you
experienced
mean.
fighter, they will
Yeah.
know, and because they will be like, okay, I'm sparring with her, time for me to work on my technique or
Yes.
whatnot. You can be fast
Yeah.
and be good. Like I've sparred with him without
Yeah.
getting hurt.
Yeah.
And like we talk about like technical sparring, hard sparring. I feel like it's hard because he's heavy, but I didn't get injured. So I have experienced guys where they come into Muay Thai sparring class on Saturdays, and we are all like, okay, this guy has been training for a couple of months with us.
It's always
And
those
then
guys, right?
It's always the
Yeah,
newbies. So
yeah.
the people we don't know, they come in, they get their asses whooped by my teammates. So then they want to come with me for a light round.
Because they just want to win.
They just want to win. Yeah,
gotcha.
which is the wrong mentality for a sparring session. And they just try to whoop my ass.
But sometimes it's also, it really isn't that easy to control, especially if you're new. Like you can.
That is understandable.
Yeah.
So for me, I have this rule with newbies is I understand because you're new, it's hard. You don't know how to control your force. It's understandable.
Yeah.
But if us as seniors are telling you, yo, watch out for your force, control your punches. Usually because they don't know. But if you verbally tell them, most of the time they will be like, oh, okay. And then after that, you can see they're throwing, but there's
They're
no
making an
force
effort.
behind it. They're making an effort to cut back on the force. So for me, I tend to have a rule where if you're gonna swing at me 3 times, if you hit me and swing full force 3 times in a row, then I know you're not holding back. I'm not gonna hold back also. On the bright side, I'm a girl, so I can do that and not get in trouble.
Oh, guys can't do that.
So
Guys, they can do that, but
They
their
can do
ego
that.
don't let them do that.
I've seen so my experience is usually if I go up with a guy and they have a point to prove for some reason, and they go full force with me, like they really try to like drop me, I've had leeway with my coaches where I feel it. I know that they're like,
being a
you
dick.
know the intention. They're being a dick.
Yeah.
They want to hurt me.
Yeah.
So I just don't be nice.
Yeah.
And even when my coach sees, they'll just look and then they'll be like,
But
they'll just let me be.
wait, but when you say let me be means you just beat them up. Yeah, what? Hey man, you can beat up a guy. No one's gonna say a damn thing.
I
all,
actually by
dude.
right it should there is a line of course as well because
Of
I
course,
still
of
control,
course.
but it's
Yeah.
more of like I have not much force, but it's just I strike with intention.
Sure.
So if you feel it, you don't feel a force, but you just feel a whip. So it's just for
Yeah.
me, it's kind of to, please watch yourself.
Okay,
Because if a guy does that to a girl, you're gonna get in trouble.
for sure, your
Yeah.
teammates will have a problem with you. You know, get the fuck
Like
out of the gym.
I've seen one of the newbies fought with one of our girls who are also quite new. He
Oh,
went
that's
full
bad.
force with her. Oh, my coach got so pissed.
Yeah, that's a very, it's a very, it's just not, it's an ugly sight to see, you know, like someone new in the gym, you know, and then if she gets hit very hard also, she also doesn't know how to say
Yeah,
anything
she's
about
just
it.
going to-
No, she doesn't know how to complain because she thought
She's
that,
new.
she thought that, I've got to be tough,
Yeah.
you know, but sometimes the veterans should know better, or people who have been at the gym longer.
Usually there's a great part is I think about martial arts guys in a sense and the experienced ones because like in my gym
Yeah.
when my boys see it last time, this is my old teammates, whenever they saw something like that happen, sometimes coach 30 people in class, you don't catch it. So what my boys would do if they see that, they will say, so they see what's the size of this guy, they'll ask one of our teammates who are the same size as him and say, yo, you go spar with him, he was beating up the new girl.
Yeah.
And then they will just spar with him and put him in his place to
Yeah.
know like, yo, you don't spar with girls like that basically.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you have a good community like that,
Yeah.
then it's okay. But if you have a bad one, then it's not so nice.
I remember when I was this is in Melbourne, so there was open sparring and it was I think kickboxing or Muay Thai, I can't remember. I think it's kickboxing or yeah, but I sparred with a girl, okay, and she's that time I was quite new, and she straight up throwing elbows, like what? I wasn't ready for that. I was quite new, you know, and head kicks and all. Yeah, but she's a girl, so all good.
I think that's where another
Yeah.
thing is it not even depending on gender.
Yeah.
If let's say I'm more experienced than you,
Yeah.
by
that's-
right I would normally
right.
just tone down because I'm like I know you're new, so there is no point of me anything. It's just here for me to teach you, rather than me trying to win. Again, it's a lot of people go into sparring mentality of I need to win, but sparring is actually a format where you learn the techniques that you've done and you learn to apply with a live partner because the timing you need to catch the timing, you need to catch the angle. So this is when you try your technique, not trying to win.
the okay, so two types: flow sparring and hard sparring. Hard sparring, people usually only do it when they are preparing for a fight in training camp. A lot of professional fighters, you know, they don't even hard spar when they don't have a fight coming up. At most, they'll do flow sparring. Some fighters, the really good ones who's been training for 10 years or so, they can have a fight coming up, a 12-week training camp, and no sparring at all. Because the logic towards that is, why am I going to go beat my body up during the training camp when I already know how to fight? I've had 20 fights, you know? You've heard of this before,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Max Holloway. Who else? I can't remember. But a lot of the
veterans.
yeah, real champions, you know, still defending champions, they would have this type of mindset because they're taking a hit. Whereas back then, when the UFC just started, 90s and early 2000s, they kind of had like this mentality where they had to go hard every session. You know, they could spar 4 times a week and just go real hard. It's just fights, like having fights in the gym. You know,
Do you
and
guys have that in karate? Like, do you guys just go all out in sparring, or you guys have like flow rounds?
No,
'Cause
we just go all out in sparring.
every time. But
There's a specific day where we just do sparring.
This is
it's just
very-
like one day, or like how many times a week do you guys?
Usually we just do like rounds, but there's a specific day where we just do full on sparring for 3 hours. Yeah.
Hard?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a rotation for if you're like black belters and above, you just go on rotation. So
How have you not gotten knocked out?
Because
You probably you've probably taken 100 clean blows to the head.
I've been hit in my head a lot.
Like a heel to your head?
Heel no. The shin.
Okay.
Shin to
Because
my
no matter how tough the person is, right, you take a clean heel to the head with someone your same weight class, you're gonna get knocked out. Yeah.
Because we specifically train for that. Like our training when I was training for under 18 World Championships, it was very specific. So the first thing we did was body conditioning, not even sparring, just pure conditioning for like 2 months. Like condition our thighs, our legs, our head.
Wait, what do you mean by like?
So the way we condition our legs is basically, I don't know if you know it, we call it horse stance. It's like we basically just kind of like you go half squat, and you hold that for about 45 to 30 minutes, and then you just come and just like.
Then you did the same shit also.
Yeah. So just our master just goes around with a stick and just comes and just whacks you and stuff like that. So those kind of then for head, which is which is very important. Like wrestlers do this a lot, where they just put the pressure on their neck.
Oh yeah,
you do that.
Yeah.
Then you use a towel and you buy the towel and you put a weight and you knock your head.
This thing, right? Is it? So the idea of training your neck muscles, is it to prevent you from getting knocked out easily?
Yeah, because you know it's
Is that shit?
Yeah, the central nervous system, right? So when you get hit in the head, it just sends like a shockwave around the whole spine.
Yeah.
So it just shuts down. So if this area is very strong and it just supports that blow. So the minute you get hit, it'll rock you for about a few seconds, but you'll recover quickly.
Yeah.
So, what happens? I heard someone say like, what happens when you get knocked out? Actually, is your brain touches the side of your skull or something like that.
It just shuts down.
Yeah, then it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It shuts down.
It just shuts down. Yeah.
I was always not too sure about, because you would see fighters as well doing like those neck exercises like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But not all of them do that. So I wasn't sure whether like that shit. But yourself, you're exhibit A and never been knocked out.
And another reason why I have never been knocked out, and most of the fighters in our organization have never been knocked out, is because
in your team, you mean?
Yeah. Because I had one master. He's currently 3rd dan black belt now.
Yep.
He is the first one to bring a bronze medal in World Championships, and he lost to a Japanese fighter in the.
You mean for Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost to a Japanese fighter, and he's the current champ for the past 8 years. So he didn't get knocked out. It just went by decision because that fight was very close. So the reason why we don't get knocked out is because the most important thing for us is to keep our hands on the head. So we practice that. I know it's
Kyokushin karate, you guys have your hands up?
We keep it here. We always keep our hands here.
Okay, I had no fucking idea. I would assume that it's some similar to karate or taekwondo.
No, it's always here.
So the stance would you say similar to like Muay Thai or boxing?
Yeah, kind of. Muay Thai is just like that. It's just like relaxed.
Not so tight.
For us, we just keep it tight.
Like basically boxing stance.
Yeah. So we have to be very agile.
Okay.
So we specifically train for that.
Was this the, GSP, George St. Pierre?
Yeah.
Is this the one?
Kind of similar. Yeah, like he followed. If I'm not wrong, he followed Kyokushin for a while.
Yeah.
He got defined himself from that.
Okay, because I remember his background. He used to walk out with this his what do you call it, that uniform. I think that's Kyokushin.
Yeah, Lyoto Machida used to do
Yeah. Okay.
Tony Ferguson used to do it in his fighting career before.
Okay.
He used to follow the same thing, and then once he started building up, now
his hands all went down.
Yeah. So it's
excited to see Tony fight as well.
I mean, the most cliche way we trained was we had to take our hands to our head.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but it works.
Some people say like I think some boxers, they would put a tennis ball. Yeah. So you.
Chin down.
Yeah, keep your chin tucked all the time. Never know, you can get knocked out. What was the reason? You're not competing right now, right?
No,
Kyokushin?
I stopped. At the start of the pandemic, I actually want to get back.
Do you mind putting the mic a little bit higher? Yeah.
At the start of the pandemic, I stopped actually, but I actually want to get back to it. It's just that
once you stop, that's the hardest to start back.
Yeah. Because I've been just during the pandemic, I was just doing my own training, but I just can't find a gym here to train in. Yeah.
If you do your own training, right, you have to be super smart. You know, if like, I would say it's like myself. When I do boxing, right, for me, I take it more as it's like leisure therapeutic. So I always do just back work by myself, but I know that that's not going to help you help with your reaction times, and it's hard, you know. But maybe you're at a level where you're experienced enough, you know how to fight already. Just focus on conditioning.
That's why, like, if I want to spar with someone, even if it's an MMA fight, I just have to go pure striking. Because I cannot go up against a guy who does grappling or jiu-jitsu and all. Because I'm not well versed in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's either that or the most closest one person who I can spar with is a boxer.
But you said you did wrestling.
I did.
But
not to the extent how MMA fighters do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you watch rugby. So Sri Lankan wrestling is kind of like that. You watch WWE, right?
Wait. yeah, I definitely do.
Suplex.
I don't watch wrestling. I don't know what I'm saying. I used to when I was young, but
right. So it's I'm pretty sure you know. Like it's like suplex and those kind of stuff.
Don't tell me you guys can do that.
Yeah, we can.
Wait, so you say wrestling is like rugby? Is there a ball?
Yes, kind of like that. You know in MMA you have double leg takedowns.
The tackle.
The double leg.
Okay, but there's no football, right, in your Sri Lankan wrestling?
No. Just the tackles. Just the tackle.
Okay, got you. It's funny. Every country has their own version of the sport.
It's just traditional.
You ever see this one's funny, man. You ever seen Khabib play basketball?
No.
Dagestani basketball.
Oh, Dagestani basketball, they have tackles.
Not tackles, dude. Khabib literally hold his teammate down and just choke him. They literally choke him.
It's like wrestling with
No, they do that shit. You know, so he's choking the guy. That I don't think he was choking, but he was kind of holding him down. And putting him in a hold, while his teammates are just scoring points. They have all their own versions. You know, where we have sepak takraw.
Ah, yes.
Sepak takraw is actually pretty fucking cool, man.
Where is that?
You've never
Never introduced it to him because even I don't really follow the sport.
I don't follow the sport at all.
It's like a badminton court. Yeah. So you have a net.
Oh, the one where you kick with it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dude, they've got some really
they are like
beautiful kicks.
Yeah, those guys can kick.
And they can flip.
Real well. Yeah. A normal round they would do what do you call it? Like just a backflip kick. You know. What do you call it? Bicycle kick. Yeah. Fuck, I forgot.
It's like Aussie rules football in Melbourne.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the most how do you say, local sport for them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you meant doing bicycle kicks.
Oh no, Aussie rules football.
Like, I think that one only in Australia people play that, right?
Yeah.
Aussie rules. It's like here, Silat is huge.
Okay, so Colleen, what's the you said you plan on fighting sometime next year? Professional. So for you to you can actually take a professional fight anytime, but when it just depends when you're ready. You think you've had enough amateur fights, enough experience?
I'm getting old.
Some people have 100 amateur fights.
They do.
Yeah.
I actually had a plan initially before all the COVID stuff was because when I fought in the World Championships I was 21.
Yeah.
So I figured I wanted to fight another year, which is 2020. In IMAF scene again, in Asians and in Worlds again, in the international level. And then I would turn professional because by that time I'll be about 22. So I wanted to get about at least 20 amateur fights. Yeah. So with all that happening, with that happened, I think it's a blessing as well in some ways because I got to get my surgery done. So my knee problem is finally gone. And also it taught me a lot of things during that time as well in terms of training and everything like that. So right now it's more of I know where I want to be and I'm also not getting any younger. I'm 24 already this year. Next year I'm going to be turning 25. So I would say I have to just take that leap of faith. When I'm ready to fight, I will fight.
Man.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that once you get older, you look back and you think that maybe I should have done it sooner. You know, gone are the days where you would see fighters who they only started training when they're 30 years old. That was in the 90s. You can't do that anymore. So they start competing when they're 30 years old and they manage to make it to be a champ within 6 years.
Yes.
You know, you can't, very rare you would see something like that now because people have been, like, you're competing against kids who's been training MMA, not boxing, not karate or what, MMA. They train MMA since they were 6, 7.
True.
You know,
That's Alex Pereira, right?
Yeah. But I would also
Pereira,
say like,
28.
He's got a background in striking though,
Yeah.
a very
Kickboxing.
extensive background.
but I wouldn't say like, yes, they have the advantage. I will agree. Definitely, the young fighters are starting younger, and definitely because they have more experience and all that. As you
Yeah.
get older, 100%. But I also come from in a sense where I came from nowhere, in the eyes of the MMA community here and even internationally as well. I didn't start fighting till 2018. My first MMA fight was in May 2018.
When you were 18.
When I was 20. I had to wait that long
Okay,
just
yeah.
to get the fight.
Shit, my math.
And
is
I trained for about I only trained for about 2 years in MMA. For 2 years. I did before that just maybe 6 months to a year of Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. So about a year of Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu only. And then I started MMA for about 2 years before I had my first fight.
Yep.
And in that span of from my first fight all the way till my last fight in Malaysia before I fought internationally, which was in 1 year, the whole year of 2018,
Yep.
I was someone that was always pit against someone who was more experienced than me.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was fighting against a girl who was either had 3 fights more than me or 4 fights more than me. At that time, I only like had 0 fights or like 1 fight or 2 fights. My first amateur debut was against someone making an amateur debut. After that, my second fight was against a girl who had 3-4 fights. My third fight was again a girl who had 5-6 fights as well.
They've always had more experience.
They've always had more experience, but
What about the... Okay, carry on.
But basically, I came from somewhere. I started 2 years ago in that time frame, and all of them have been fighting way longer than me. All of them have been fighting 5-6 years, maybe training 5-6 years, been fighting for 3 years since Mima 4, Mima 5, whatever it is. And I came from nowhere and just, I beat them. So sometimes I think like,
Were you younger than most of them?
around the same age. They were all
Okay.
early 20s, some of them early 20s, some late 20s
Okay.
as well. But I also wasn't fully developed back then because I only really kind of stopped growing when I was about 21.
Now your height?
Everything.
That's very late.
Yeah, quite
Yeah,
late.
Okay.
So
Girls, they can stop growing at 13, like height-wise.
I only stopped growing when I was about 21. I only stopped growing. So I wasn't fully like developed. Like now I put on muscle much easier. Rather back then it was much harder. And that's why I kind of believe like, yes, you have these people that are more experienced, but I came from somewhere where I only been training 2 years. I fought because I had the right training, I had the right coaches, I had the right team, and I beat everyone here. And I went internationally as well, and
How many
this goal
finishes
as
did you
well.
have?
I don't have a lot. Most of my finishes are technical knockouts, so ground and pound.
That's still a finish.
Yeah.
No one would say that
think-
that's not a finish.
I
It's
think
still considered a finish.
Maybe
TKOs, right?
out of 9 fights,
Yeah.
maybe only 3.
3 that are
Most-
non-finishes.
No, 3 that are TKOs. The rest are
Submissions.
all unanimous decisions.
Okay, did you have any subs?
No, never. Somehow never managed to. It's like I get there, and I don't finish. It ends up becoming a ground and pound.
Is it?
Yeah.
I want to ask about your last fight, which was a loss, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Before I get into that, what's your weight right now?
My weight now. I'm big. I'm 54.
What's your the weight that you compete at? 52. You know, the only reason I'm able to ask that is because you're doing MMA. If not, it would be very insensitive to ask a girl that very okay.
Yeah.
So wait, so you're not far from you
I'm
compete
not.
at 52. Wouldn't you say this is your regular walk around weight? If not,
It took me a long time to come up to 50. When I was
50.
when we first started dating, I was what 52.
So you were fighting under the limit?
No, I was walking at my fight weight because I had a difficult time putting on the muscle mass. So I was walking at 52, maximum 53. So I was cutting like 1 kilo and then just fighting.
You didn't want to fight at the lighter weight class?
I cannot make 48.
You tried.
Yeah, my body, I think
Is 48 the lightest weight class for
yes.
girls?
Yeah, I can't. I thought of doing 48 because I was walking at 52 at the time, but my body doesn't allow me to cut below 50 kilos.
Okay. Is that because you didn't do the diet? You're talking about just the what do you call that? The water loss?
Because at 50, I've been at 50 before unintentionally.
But also you're quite muscular, man. Yeah, so it's
Now I am. Back then I was very small, and when I was 50 kilos, cause for jiu-jitsu comp I had to cut, so I dropped. It was a hard cut just to make 49, just to make it to 49. It was one of the hardest cuts
which
where
is 3 kgs that you're cutting.
it's just actually 3 kilos only. But after I hit 50, the last kilo was hard because I was already I had such low fat percentage that I did not have a menstrual cycle for months.
Oh, that's bad. That's dangerous.
I had
Yeah, I can't mess around with that.
about 3 to 6 months.
Did you see a doctor or something?
No, I just thought it was normal. Because it's normal for female
Normal?
athletes to not have. When you have a low fat body fat, this happens. So I thought it was normal at the time. So after that, low body fat, my hips could literally be seen. Like my hip bone is protruding out. So that was when I knew I can never make atom weight, which is 48 kilos. It is, my body literally cannot handle it. Hence why I stay at 52.
Just a little insight lah, like people who don't follow the sport, right? So these fighters, when they compete, let's say if you were 57 kilos, it's normal to be walking around 65 kilos. So you're gonna cut roughly 15 to 20 pounds. You know, you have some people cutting about 35 pounds within a span of 30 pounds. They can cut 30 pounds within a span of
6 weeks.
some do it in 2 weeks, and that's to the regular person, the regular eyeballs, right? People would think that that's just insane. It doesn't even make any sense.
We have a smart way of doing it. We have a smart way of doing it.
It's not that
It's
smart.
temporary.
It's still not that smart. Like people always talk about how one championship there's a big
Hydration
difference.
test.
Yeah, it's a big difference compared to UFC, because UFC you're gonna cut fuck ton of weight, 20 to 30 pounds. In one FC you don't have the way that the system works is you have hydration the day of the fight. You have the weigh-ins the day of the fight.
Day before.
Is it?
It's still day before.
So what's the reason why they're not gonna cut as much weight, or they can't even cut any weight?
One championship, because of the hydration test, most of us, what we do is we dehydrate ourselves. One, we diet. If you're really, really big, we diet first for about 3-4 weeks, and then we dehydrate the same week. That's what I do. I tend to dehydrate to cut 3 kilos. I do it in 1 week. I water load, and then I'll dehydrate myself. So with one championship's rule set of the hydration test, which you need to pass, you cannot cut as much water in your body, which means that you really have to rely solely on your diet. Because if you don't pass the hydration test, they will give you I think 2 chances. After the hydration test, twice, then only you weigh in. If you pass the hydration test, you go to the weigh-ins. Safety of the athlete.
I was curious about that because when I hear people talk about one championship, I know that they don't cut as much weight because it's just the system doesn't allow them to do so. But when they do the dieting from weeks out, they still would cut maybe 4 kilos.
I've seen 8
kilos. Whatever gets you the advantage, right?
Yeah.
But that's
for sure.
not nearly as dangerous as trying to dehydrate yourself, because you're doing it with a proper diet. You know,
True, exactly.
your body might be starving, but compared to just dehydrating yourself, your brain's gonna get fucked up. You know.
Do people in Kyokushin dehydrate their body? Okay.
Well, what's the reason for that? Like, you guys don't cut...
That's why it's kind of like a deadly sport, is because ours is age category, no weight category.
You fight open weight? Okay, I didn't know this.
What's your weight when you were competing?
I was 75.
Dude, you're not that heavy. Wait, you're heavier now, right?
Yeah.
So what's your
Became
weight
a
now?
very big boy after
But
21.
I was much more bigger.
What do you mean?
I wasn't muscular. I was just buff.
Jacked up. You were jacked.
Not even jacked. It's just not fat, not jacked.
Because
It's in the middle.
75 kilos is... I'm 77. What's your weight right now?
I'm 91.
Oh. Wait, so wouldn't you say that... Wait, so when you were 75, wouldn't you be competing with people 90 kilos, 6'3" and jacked?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was competing, but it's age category, not weight category.
But they could be actually.
I don't know how is it now, but those days it was just 8 categories. Yeah, so under 18, under 20.
No, if you think about it, right, you're 75 kilos, you know, and open weight. That a dude shows up 90 kilos, Jack 6'3".
You just have to fight.
It's you still have to fight, but he's definitely having the.
He has advantage. That's
Very
the same thing that
significant.
happened to my master as well.
Yeah.
He fought a Japanese fighter
Yeah.
who was 6'4", 110 kilos.
And how heavy is your master?
He was 93, but
He's
he's 6'2". He was 6'2", 93.
Okay.
Then that's why it's just
But that could be you.
yeah.
You
It's
could be
Oh my
fighting the
God.
110
yeah.
kilos.
So you
dude.
just have to have the guy.
That's crazy. Because
Yeah.
even in IMAF, we have age category for youth, but
Yeah.
we also have weight classes. So that's
Truth
That is
is,
crazy.
you know, could get seriously hurt, man. Truth is, yeah. But I guess at the younger age category, your body, people's bodies has not filled in completely. Yeah, right.
Hence the conditioning, because our fight camp is 6 months. We do 3 months conditioning and then 3 months.
But
just
when you
technical.
compete, you have several bouts within a few days.
We do. Sometimes we go
like
for local
taekwondo
tournaments.
or something like that.
Not really. We just have like inter-gym, because there's many gyms in Sri Lanka. Like our organization is big, so we have about 20-30 gyms. So we just do intra-gym. Or
Kyokushin
maybe
is big in Sri Lanka. Okay, that I had no idea.
it's
yeah.
very big. It's one of, because our master is 7-dan black belt right now.
Okay,
So he is one of the highest ranks
In the
masters
world?
in the world.
globally, what's the number one sport in Sri Lanka? Soccer.
Cricket.
Good. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Colleen, going back to you. I want to ask about so your last fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first L you've ever taken,
yes.
right? In combat sports. Okay. I know you take L's all the time in the gym. Yeah, which is necessary. So, how was that whole experience? Was it in the semi-finals or the finals? I can't remember.
Semi-finals.
Okay. How's that
So-
experience?
One of the honestly, it's even one of the most painful experiences, because I guess one I mean I hadn't been fighting for long as well back then, so imagine like that was my 4th day of fighting. I fought 3 days in a row prior. I fought day 1 in Bahrain,
You're a savage.
fought day 2 and got injured. And that fight got extended to 4 rounds because the judges couldn't decide.
So the fight that you took the L was the the 4th fight in how many days?
I had another. If I had won, I would have gone to the finals, which is the 5th day.
Dude, but your body is like, okay, so let's say you show up day 1, you're 100%. Your body is definitely not more than 50% in the last, or maybe at the most 50% in the, considering how, I mean, depends on how your fights went.
It was very tiring. I remember because one, even before that, I had a lot of mental stress already when it came to the funding.
Of course.
So I got lucky. I had a private sponsor that the last bit of money that I needed, she came up and I'll help you out. I understand.
The fact that you have to even think about those type of things when you have your 4th fight incoming, you know.
And yeah,
in
with that,
4 days.
I was okay. Because the second fight was the most tiring one for me. But I would say, out of all my 9 MMA fights, that World Championships, the second day, when I fought with the Swedish girl, was the most fun I've ever had in a cage.
Okay,
Like,
tell me about it.
her style was exactly like, I was basically fighting me. Her style was exactly say like me. The way she threw, everything was the same except, because I had Muay Thai, so I clinched. But otherwise, it was so similar the way we fought that judges couldn't decide after 3 rounds. They extended to the 4th round. And that was the fight that I
4th
took.
round?
Yeah. This is not normal. It's supposed to have a decision. So they were like, they literally came to us after the 3rd round. It was like
Is it 5 minutes?
3 minutes.
Okay, because
3
amateur.
minutes. Yeah, amateur.
Okay. Oh,
so
Jesus.
literally the ref came like, so the judges can't decide who is going to win. Is it okay if we extend another round?
Say no. I'm
No,
a winner.
I was fine. So I was like, sure, let's go. And the 4th round I got a TKO. So
Lovely.
it was in my favor.
Was
So
it a ground and pound?
yeah. And my 4th, so after that fight I took huge damage.
The 3rd fight?
Second,
Second fight?
day 2, I had damaged ribs.
The one with 4 rounds, right?
4 rounds. I had damaged ribs because I took like quite a lot of knees to the ribs. So 3rd day fighting, technically, I should not have fought if I went through the medical test, cause I couldn't even do a sit up. I cannot do push up also because it hurt so bad.
So
If the medics had found out, they would have pulled me out of the fight.
yeah.
So
Unfortunately, it's a very common thing amongst fighters. They do whatever they can to pass the medical test.
Yes.
Right?
But because I flew all the way from Malaysia with people funding me
Yeah.
to go there, hoping that I would bring home a gold medal. Or for them, I wanted to bring home a gold medal, which would be the first time for Malaysia.
Yep.
So third day, I remember I was already super tired. I was really, really tired. Like in the warm-up area, we were warming up and my coach was like, "Are you okay?" And I was warming up, but my brain was gone. I was tired. This was hurting. I had to tape
This
it
is
up.
the third day, right?
Third day already.
Yeah.
Taping up and everything. And I was so damn tired. I still pushed through, but my coach was like, "Why don't you take a 15-minute nap?" Took a 15-minute nap. I woke up. It was time to
Wait.
fight.
15-minute nap. What about napping? But did you nap like? I would assume that after your second fight, you would just crash for 12 hours.
Cannot, because I needed.
Yeah,
Cannot, because I
that's-
needed to
yeah,
sweat it out and everything.
So what?
Like in the evening, I needed to train with my coach, so we just move. We go through the
Like
game
just
plan.
to stay.
Just to stay active, kinda, because I need to make weight in the morning. So in IMAF, we weigh in every morning. Every morning at 7 a.m. we weigh in. We do our medical test immediately after. We have breakfast and then we
But
start fighting at
making
11
weight
a.m.
every morning. Did you have anything to cut?
I just dehydrate 1 kilo.
Okay, which is 1
1 kilo and
session
a
of
half
training.
maximum.
But it's still bad. Yeah, especially 1 kilo. You're not that heavy. You're 50.
Yeah. So 1 kilo is not too bad. It's just mentally and physically kind of exhausting. So the third day, the girl was essentially just pinning me towards the cage for 3 rounds.
Is this the fight that you
But
lost?
because I was no, I won that fight by decision because I was more active. The last one, the fourth one was the one
How
where
did you win the third fight?
decision.
No,
Decision.
I mean, but I know decision, but
I know decision, but
Oh, because I was more active. She just
I know
helped
that too.
me
But
I know that.
and
I just
didn't
mean,
do
like,
anything.
How did you bring yourself through that? What about?
When
Do you
you
think
have
that girl was also having tough fights in the? Because she would have had to
Probably.
have
She would have
fought
had
2
to
times
have fought
prior
2
as well,
times.
right?
exactly
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of us are on
Yeah,
day 3 fighting 2 days before we all get there by merit.
Yeah.
So that was a tiring one
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a sense. I honestly thought I nearly lost because it was in this to
It
decision.
was a close one.
It's a close one.
Yep.
The last day my ribs were still hurting, but you gotta push through what you gotta push through. I think that fight, one, I made a mistake. We came in with the wrong game plan. Thinking this girl was, cause I don't watch the films of my opponents. I let my coaches do it and just
Yeah.
tell me what to do.
Yep.
So I had no idea who she was. We kind of thought we mixed her up with another girl. So we thought she was a striker. Turns out she was a jiu-jitsu girl. So one, we came in with the wrong game plan. But on top of that, I made a mistake. I made one mistake and she capitalized on it. So I think that hurt me the most because I
You
watched
lost by
I
submission.
lost by submission.
Okay.
And the worst was for me, I am okay with losing to someone who is like way better than me.
Yep.
But in my heart, I watched the finals as well, of
Yeah.
course, because I was still there. And in my heart, I knew I can beat this girl and I can beat so this girl ended up becoming the champion.
Yeah.
So and the girl she fought was another girl, I think from Australia. She was a boxer. Like you can see her style is like very boxing. And I watched them and I was like, in my heart I knew like it was sound like ego. I can beat both of them. But on that day, I messed up and she capitalized on it. Like literally she was just smarter than me that day. She was a better fighter than me that day.
Yep.
I think that's what hurts the most is because of my mistake, I didn't even blame her. I was like, you are stupid enough to make such a rookie mistake that you cost yourself the fight. And the worst is like, I could have been a world champion the first time just like that.
Yeah.
And I lost because of that. So I think to me, after I tapped out, because I really felt like my arm was about to break, because it was a triangle armbar. It was tight.
It's not worth letting it.
Yeah,
and at least you're smart enough to think about like the.
It was too. I was like, I really couldn't get out, and I tapped, and I think my first thought was, I kind of let everyone down.
Yeah.
Because everyone in my team didn't make it even past quarterfinals. I was the only one left, so everybody was just rooting on me, and I had like people in Malaysia, like like the news, some of the online news channels and stuff like that was kind of following our progress, and I was the only one left. So, and I went in there, and before I left, I told my coaches, I was like, I'm gonna bring you home a gold medal. I straight out just told them, I was like, just like Asians, I'm gonna bring you home a gold medal. So when that happened, I felt like I let all my coaches down, because they really put in so much work, like so much time on and off the mats for me. Whenever I cried in the gym, they were always there for me. So it kind of felt like I let every single person down. My parents who helped me to get there as well. So, and I was the last hope. So I knew the amount of pressure I was going under as well. So that was honestly like heartbreaking, because I felt like, I came so far. I flew so far. I made the weight. I trained hard for this, and because of my stupid mistake, I lost.
It's, I can see just from how, you talking about it now, right? Like how much this all means to you. Yeah. It's funny because if you think about the circumstances, right? You had that injury in the second day. Fighting 4 days in a row is already quite fucking insane. Odds are all stacked against you, definitely. And yet the first thing you thought about once you tapped was you blaming yourself, and you just felt super disappointed that you had to let down everyone. Yeah. But that's the exact mentality that you have to have. And that's what you're showing right now, It's just heart of a champion. And you'll get there. You go through this once. That's the advantage you have over the champion right now. She's probably never lost, right? Maybe she has, but at a high level, maybe she at the finals, maybe she hasn't lost. But that's something you have. And also the fact that while watching the finals, that you still believe that, I could have had her. Yeah. It's kind of like a built-in excuse, that that's not you on your best day. Yeah. So this is not directly doesn't directly translate, but John Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Jones. He said on Joe Rogan that before every fight, championship fight, right? Because he was mostly defending titles.
Yes.
How many titles defenses he had? 10 or something?
12 now?
Insane, dude. Insane. The GOAT, like he's the GOAT in many people's eyes, right? John Jones, light heavyweight champion. He says that before every fight, a week before, he would go party, just get fucking wrecked, do some coke and all with his buddies. The reason why he would do that is so that he knew if he lost, he knew that wasn't his best version. That was the best version of him with him doing cocaine for like partying a week before. So he knew. It was kind of like an excuse, which is you right now. It's not an excuse. Yeah. It's a reason for you to believe that you could have been champion.
Yeah.
That girl probably did have a rib injury. Yeah.
She won all her fights by submission, actually. All the way to the finals, all by submission.
We wouldn't know,
Yeah.
Fighters are insane mentality.
I definitely like all these fighters, but definitely like I took home a lot, and I learned a lot from that, because it's such an international tournament. So I learned a lot, and what I think after that, talking to my coaches and then coming back home, did I realize that what I didn't realize at the time as well was that I had made such a huge impact on
Malaysia MMA scene.
Malaysia, but not only that, IMUF started to know that Malaysia had talents. Yeah. So before that, it was like, yeah, and then
you
after me, I was like, when I was told like, hey, the CEO of IMUF actually said like he was very impressed with your performance. It's like to hear something like that during the award ceremony, saying like this guy knows your name and you've made it such a big impression. It's at least I think comforting to feel in a sense. At least
man,
I've made a difference.
I'm a huge fan of this sport, you know, and the fact that you are literally the first female MMA fighter that people actually know of, you know, and I mean in Malaysia, you know, and yeah, I really wish you all the best, you know, and keep doing it, keep going for it, you know, yeah, it's inspiring, yeah. I think we're gonna wrap up. Okay. Guess how long we did?
I have no idea. What time is it? Oh dear Lord.
Which of you guys want to pee badly?
I don't.
I also don't know.
Yeah. I don't want.
What? Are you serious? Yeah. Dude, I want to pee so badly. I was holding it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up now. Okay. I'll ask you one last question. People often say you can't teach heart, right?
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. What do you think about that? Because some people say you can nurture it, you know, but you have to kind of already have it. What do you think?
You go first. Let me think. Give me time to think. You go first.
Dude, if I knew anything more about Kyokushin, I would talk more about that. But I seriously, I don't want to sound like an idiot, you know. So yeah.
That's alright. I mean, I think it really depends on the environment you're brought up in. For me, I really started to get into martial arts is because I was bullied as a kid. So for me, it was about standing up for myself.
Talk a bit nearer.
Yeah. So for me, it was about standing up for myself. So once I started realizing why I'm being bullied is because I wasn't standing up for myself and letting people take advantage of me because I wasn't fighting back. And then I started using that as an excuse to be stronger mentally and physically. So I think it really depends on the reason. Like most people have different reasons. I know a lot of people, their reason to have heart is so they can hurt other people.
That's not a good enough reason.
Which is a short term.
Yeah,
in my opinion, it's a short term reason. Because you might run into someone who will definitely be stronger than you or maybe is smart enough to use a weapon and just end your life. So I really think it really depends on both in which environment you grow up in and having like a proper reason to, you know, build up that courage and that mentality.
Reasoning is very important, right? Most of the time, these fighters, this is just an example. Most of the champions in the UFC, they're not born from a very well-to-do, overly overly spoiled. They're not. There's maybe a small percentage, very small, 0.1% that are in the UFC. I'm not sure if I think there's one champion, BJ Penn. So BJ Penn, apparently he was from quite a well-to-do family in Hawaii. But apart from him, 99% of the fighters, they're fighting for their families.
Yes.
Like literally, the term fighting for their family, people often say that when it comes to sitting in the office, right? Working 9 to 5, people usually use the term fighting for your family. This is literal in the sport of fighting. And it just so happens that 99% of the people fighting in UFC, the highest level, they are dirt poor. What about you, Colleen?
What he says, like what Kasun says about environment really does make a difference, for
Of course.
sure. But I guess, because the term you can't teach hard is one of the Hyperfly mottos actually.
Yeah.
Hyperfly Asia mottos. And
It's kind of demotivating.
no,
don't you
actually,
think?
I think it's great because it's true. Because it's really, if you have it or you don't. Like, we have so many fighters in this world, but why is it only a certain percentage of people make it there?
And they're usually poor.
The thing is, it's very hard to teach someone not to give up in the cage. This is the most heartbreaking thing to me to see is I've seen teammates when I watch them fight.
Who are usually real good fighters.
They're really good. They're
Yeah.
honestly really good, but they go in the cage, they're getting beat, and you see the light in their eyes just disappear. And you know they have given up. And that is the most heartbreaking thing to see in the cage, where a fighter just gives up. And the thing is, as a coach, how do you teach that? How do you teach a fighter to keep fighting if they don't want to?
Yeah.
And this is why I kind of believe where you can't really teach heart. It's how much do you want it? I can help you get there. If you have a reason, I can help you find your reason.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the heart there in you, it's going to be hard. Because I can scream at you all I want and say, get the hell up and all that. But if you've given up,
you've made a decision.
that's it. And or vice versa, if you have the heart, even I tell you, hey, stay down, it's fine, we fight another day. But with the heart, I've seen fighters go like, no, screw this. And even I've been in a situation in jiu-jitsu where I'm in open weight category and this girl is like,
how is that possible?
so heavy. Jiu-jitsu, because there's no striking.
No, I know, but why would you do that?
For fun. Because to test myself. I
Very
do it
fun.
to test myself.
Getting crushed by...
Yes, getting crushed by
70
people.
70 kgs? 80 kgs?
Yes, sometimes.
Dude,
and
what? She could be 80, 90 kgs.
yeah, you never know. In open weight.
Well, she might gas out real quick.
It's kind of like you have to play it to your advantage. And
How did you fare in the competition?
I remember sometimes I'm a blue belt now, so
Yeah.
I haven't competed much, but I've had some silvers, some golds here and there, but I've not competed enough in
Sure.
jiu-jitsu. But I remember there was one fight, it was really hard, and she was my weight. So she was my weight, but she's really, really good. Like after that, she was the Pan American champion. Like she's she's young and she's really good. And I remember that fight with her, it was 0-0.
She was your weight?
Yeah, my weight.
Oh,
0-0. 0-0. She's a she's a brown belt now.
What do you mean 0-0?
Like the point, so in jiu-jitsu we have points.
Okay,
Certain
okay,
positions have. So we were literally 0-0 down to the last 30 seconds. Last minute of the fight. 5 minutes on the mats. Last minute we were still 0-0. She couldn't get any points on me. I couldn't get any points on her. And she was just dodging all my shots. I was trying to take her down to get just 2 points.
Yeah, she's playing the time.
She was just playing, and she had one advantage over me because she got a submission, but I got out. So she had one advantage. So if we had finished, she would have won. So I was like, I just need to score just 1 point. And I remember a point in there where I was like, I had no teammates around. I traveled alone to Singapore to compete. Professor couldn't come with me as well. So I was completely alone. And
Professor is your coach?
my Professor Bruno, like he
Okay,
couldn't
Bruno.
come with me as well because I was the only one competing. Doesn't make sense to come to Singapore.
Yeah.
So
You're
I
busy.
competed completely alone, and I was looking at time and I was like, I have 45 seconds, 30 seconds left. I have to score. I remember at one point I was like, part of me went like, shit, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
I was like, and I look at the time and I was like, part of me was like, you know what, you can't take her down. And then I saw the clock and I don't know, another part of me came and was like, no, you get back up, you take her down. And somehow I got the strength to lift her with me back up. I took the double leg and literally just secured it because I have to secure for 3 seconds. Took her down in the last 20 seconds, just like held her down all the way, scored the 2 points, and then just held her there until all the way to last. And I just literally won in the last 20 seconds. Just like that. Just because there was a voice in my head that went, you didn't come all the way here just to lose by one advantage.
That's that heart that you can't teach.
Yeah.
One thing that you mentioned, you see your teammates giving up, right? Yeah. But there's also, the thing is, right, you can make it to such a high level without your lack of heart being exposed.
Yes.
Because most of the time, the lack of heart gets exposed and displayed when you run out of gas, right? People say that fatigue makes cowards of any man and women. Yeah. And if you're always in better condition than your opponent, then you might never have to go through that.
Oh, that's so true.
Have you ever been like gassed?
In a fight?
Yeah.
Because I used to be an obstacle course racer. So I had the base of a pretty good endurance, just not explosive enough. But now I feel it. Now in training, now that I've
put on some weight as well.
That and also the fact
muscle
that
as
my
well.
training has changed.
Yeah.
With the surgery also, I was out for quite a long time. My endurance has gone down. Explosiveness has gone up, but endurance has gone down. In training,
it's a trait.
I feel I feel when I train with the boys, I have gassed out in training. It's horrible feeling.
Wait, that's your first time feeling?
Yeah, in training.
But, okay.
I've never gassed out in a fight. In training, I have.
Okay.
Where I just feel like, I think recently, the most recent was when I was training with my friend Xander. He's about 65 kilos, but he's very tall, but 65. And last round of sparring, 4-minute rounds. Last round of sparring, I was literally telling myself, you need to push his knee and get back up. You know what to do to get out. My brain was telling my body was pushing, but nothing was budging.
Yeah.
And I was just gassed out, and I was just like pushing, nothing was working, and I was just like, after that round, I literally just sat down and I was like, what the hell am I feeling? I'm like, this is the first time I've ever felt this gassed out in my life.
I tell you, I've definitely, even just hearing you talk about it, I don't think I've reached that level. Because whenever I feel exhausted, right, it's not to the point where my body doesn't want to listen. Like, I know I'm in control, you know. My hands can't go up, although I could put it up, but I'm super tired.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever pushed or it's like you said, like, you know, you can't teach it, you know. Okay, let's wrap up, guys. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. All right, guys. That's episode 28. Thanks. 28 of Let's Get It podcast. Really nice to have Colleen Augustin on and her partner, Kasun, Kyokushin world champ.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Weren't you the under 18 world champ?
No, I didn't go to World Championships.
Okay.
But I'm second at black belt.
Okay, incoming. Yeah, guys, if you guys have enjoyed this episode, I know it was very heavily MMA based, but this is honestly what I'm so interested in, and this is something that I probably never ever get to talk about on podcasts, you know, so it's really refreshing to have you on. And I swear, I fucking feel like I'm interviewing like McGregor or something. It's fun, man. Would love to have you on next time.
Yeah,
We'd
sure.
love to be back
we'd
here.
love to
We
be
have
back.
so much fun.
Good luck in your next fight. I'll keep up to date, and see you guys in the next episode.
Missing my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to court, but before only courts that we knew were the ones where we were shooting three, selling Kobe. To a legend, rest in peace to the old me, rest in peace to my brothers, rest in peace.